There's a place on Earth where time moves differently, where ancient trees rise like sentinels from the red earth, and creatures that exist nowhere else still whisper through the forests. Madagascar is a world apart, a living museum of evolution, where the wild remains untamed, and every sound, every moment, feels like a glimpse into another age. I've just returned from co-leading an unforgettable 3-week photographic adventure here with ORYX Photo Tours and my good friend and fellow guide Dale Morris. Together with a group of passionate photographers, we explored this incredible island from the west to the south and across to the eastern rainforests, chasing light, life, and moments that words can barely describe. This was our journey. Our adventure began in Morondava on the island's western coast. After a short flight from the capital, we checked into a beautiful hotel, a relaxed beachside lodge with incredible views over the Mozambican Channel. It was the perfect place to unwind before heading inland. However, that afternoon, we made our way to the world-famous Baobab Alley. Standing among these giants, some more than 800 years old, you can feel the weight of time. We spent hours walking between the enormous trunks, experimenting with different compositions, shooting wide to capture scale, and later switching to silhouettes as the sun dipped below the horizon. It was simply one of those scenes that reminds us why we fell in love with photography in the first place. The next morning, after an early breakfast, we packed up and began our journey north towards Ikiba Lodge, our base for exploring the dry forests of Kirindy. Kirindy is one of Madagascar's most extraordinary wildlife destinations, a patchwork of dry forests filled with rare and fascinating species. And on our very first afternoon, we struck gold, an incredible female fossa. She moved effortlessly through the forest, curious but calm, giving us ample opportunity to photograph her in the dappled light, and watching her vanish back into the woodland was both thrilling and humbling. As night fell, we began our first nocturnal walk, with headlamps scanning the forest until we found our first pair of eyes in the beam. Our first lemur species of the trip, a grey-brown mouse lemur. Soon after, we encountered pale forked mark lemurs and spotted lemurs, each one a new photographic challenge in the darkness. The following morning, we returned for a day walk. The forest was alive with birdsong, vangers, kuas, and paradise flycatchers flitting through the canopy. We then found a beautiful group of red-fronted brown lemurs and spent much of the morning with them, observing their interactions and capturing some intimate portraits. Their relaxed nature provided us with great opportunities to put on super wide-angle lenses and get tight, taking awesome and unique close-ups. Back at the lodge, a surprise awaited us. A small group of sifakas that were leaping through the trees just meters away from our breakfast table. Breakfast was obviously cut short as we followed them back into the forest and spent the better part of that day photographing them. Over the next day, we continued exploring Kirindy, photographing its unique wildlife and textures, the dry leaves, the red earth, and endless shapes of trees, before returning to Morondava for another photographic session at Baobab Alley. It was the perfect farewell to the west coast. From the west, we flew to the south to Fort Dauphin, where our next chapter began, the legendary Berenty Reserve. Set amidst the spiny forests of southern Madagascar, Berenty Reserve is home to some of the island's most iconic inhabitants, the ring-tailed lemurs and sifakas. We spent 3 unforgettable nights here. Each morning we ventured into the spiny forest, a landscape unlike anywhere else, dotted with cactus-like plants, thorny trees, and surreal light that flitted through the dust. Midday was often spent back at camp, surrounded by the resident ring-tailed lemurs that truly owned the place, lounging on paths, grooming one another, and cheekily inspecting camera gear left unattended. In the late afternoon, we waited for that golden hour moment, when the sifakas would cross open ground on their way back to roost for the evening. Moving upright in that famous dance, photographing them as they leapt and twisted across the sand, framed by the glowing light, was one of the absolute highlights of the trip. And at night, we returned back to the spiny forest, torches in hand, searching for nocturnal species, finding chameleons sleeping on branches, scops owls, nightjars, and even a few snakes. Berenty offered a blend of intimate encounters and thrilling variety, a photographer's paradise from sunrise to starlight. After another stop in the capital, we travelled east towards the lush rainforests of Andasibe and Matadea. a complete contrast to the dry forests we just left behind. We stayed at the beautiful Manta Forest Lodge, perched above the treetops with views across misty valleys. Over 4 nights here, we immersed ourselves in the rich biodiversity of these forests. Our first day in the Berenty Reserve delivered one of the most emotional experiences of the trip, hearing the haunting call of the indris. Their cries echoed through the valley, resonating like whale songs through the trees. We followed the sound and soon found a small family feeding high in the canopy. Photographing them through shafts of soft light was pure magic. We also spent some time with the elegant dyed-in sifakas, arguably one of the most beautiful primates on the planet, with their golden fur and expressive eyes. On another day, we made the drive out to Madagascar National Park, where the forest grows denser and wild. Here we were treated to sightings of black and white rough lemurs calling across the canopy, and even a fleeting glimpse of a pair of red-bellied lemurs. The macro life here was just as captivating, setting up a mini studio in the heart of the forest to photograph the incredible giraffe-necked weevil and special frogs, and not to mention a brief but unforgettable encounter with a pitta-like ground roller darting through the undergrowth. During our night walks, the forests came alive again. Bamboo lemurs making their way to roost just as the sun dips, frogs calling from hidden pools, and a dazzling variety of chameleons clinging to slender branches. Every step revealed something new, something utterly unique to Madagascar. For the final leg of the journey, we travelled further east, boarding a small boat that took us an hour north through a series of freshwater lakes and channels to reach Palmarum. The scenery changed completely. Lush forests, tranquil water, and a sense of calm after the busier pace from previous stops. Palmarum is known for its beautiful setting and for the resident lemurs that wander freely through the lodge grounds. Every morning, we were greeted by black lemurs and crowned lemurs outside our cabins, perfectly at ease with our presence. Days were slow and peaceful, walks along the beach searching for carnivorous plants, time to reflect and edit images, and a feeling that the trip had come full circle. But the real magic began after dark. At night we boarded another boat and travelled to a small island in search of one of Madagascar's rarest and strangest animals, the eye. After a short walk through the forest, the guides quietly pointed upward, and there it was. We spent the evening photographing this incredible creature as it foraged in the darkness. It was the perfect ending, a creature so strange it felt like the embodiment of Madagascar's wild spirit. Looking back, Madagascar offered everything we could have hoped for, and more. A journey through a living laboratory of evolution, filled with photography at every turn. From the golden light of Baobab Alley to the haunting calls of the indris, every day brought new challenges, new rewards, and moments of pure wonder. What made it even more special was sharing it with such an incredible group of photographers who embraced the adventure, the long drives, the early mornings, and the unexpected. Together we captured not just images, but memories, and a deeper appreciation for one of the most remarkable places on Earth. I can't wait to return, and if you're looking for a photo tour that combines wildlife, culture, and truly unique photographic experiences, I can promise you, Madagascar will leave its mark on you too. Join ORYX Photo Tours and experience it for yourself.